Well, the weekend is here, and we know all of our Africa Channel viewers will be looking for a rather fun activity to engage in. Well, we have just the right venture for you to try out. Parkour, one of the world's fastest-growing free-running sports, turns urban landscapes into adventure playgrounds. Now, with the parkour community taking shape in South Africa, our roving presenter Brett Rogers meets up with one of its leaders at the Johannesburg Zoo Lake to discuss the world's passion for this very unique sport.
Although it has French origins, parkour is a sport that has grown across the world for its accessibility, excitement and freedom of expression through the art of movement. Zoo Lake is as good a place as any to give parkour a try for the first time. Let's see how I go.
Right, good. Got a little rundown. You should be fairly ready to work now. What I'm going to teach you is how to get over a bar, how to get under a bar, how to walk on top of a bar. So these movements that I'm going to be teaching you are essentially movement or parkour vocabulary. When they stand on their own, they're just a movement, they're just a jump, they're not very interesting. Once you can stitch all these movements or words together, you can start telling a story with parkour. And that's essentially the nuts and bolts of parkour, is putting together a fluid movement without too much interruption. Conservation of momentum is very important.
Parkour teaches us how to navigate obstacles through functional movement, encourages physical interaction with the environment, and boosts critical thinking skills. All right, that was a great warm-up. I feel amazing. But now, what is parkour? How did you get into it?
Casino Royale was the first Daniel Craig movie, and there was one of the opening scenes was a chase scene where Bond was chasing a bomb maker through this construction site. And I was hooked, and I knew I had to learn what they were doing, that I needed to know how they were doing that movement. So that weekend I did some Googling, and I hooked up with a team that was teaching classes in the UK. And one thing led to another, and ended up in me leaving my job in finance, retraining as a sports scientist, and coming back to South Africa to train people.
But you know, like, I watch these fail videos on YouTube, and I see these people crashing. Is it safe?
It is a concern, mostly because people are viewing parkour from the safety of a YouTube channel. Look, it is relatively safe. There will always be inherent risks, but it's safer than football, safer than rugby, it's safer than hockey, safer than horse riding. So all of these sports that we go out and do and take part in, and we don't give a second thought about the safety, are much more dangerous than parkour.
Why should my viewers get into parkour?
Parkour is mostly outside, it's fun, it's a great workout. You learn to move like human beings do. You might learn to fly a little bit as well.
I mean, what age can somebody start? We got our viewers with some young kids. How young can they be to get into it?
There are classes, specifically in the UK, that are starting as young as 6, I think, possibly even younger. Might be wrong there, but really is no age group. As soon as you can start running and jumping, you can start parkouring.
What are the most common injuries from parkour?
Scratches, cuts, losing a callus or two, and as complicated as it sounds, ankle hyperdorsiflexion, which is pretty much doing that without control.
It's social, adventurous, and looks really cool when you land those big jumps or vaults. Parkour's in most major cities in SA, so have a look around for your local group. All right, so I've given parkour a try. It's such fun. It keeps you fit. It's outdoors. It's a great activity. Why don't you give it a try this weekend?